As many of you already know, I'm sure, in the whole of Africa, there may be less than 400,000 elephants and under 50,000 forest elephants. 20,000 southern white rhinos across 9 southern and East African countries, and 5,000 black rhinos across 10 of these. Scandalous numbers. Between 2010 and 2012, 2 years, it is believed that over 100,000 elephants were slaughtered for ivory. Since 2007, in South Africa alone, more than 5,000 rhinos have been slaughtered for their horns for illegal markets in Asia. I simply can't understand why, in spite of all the protests, growing in number and size, from people in all walks of life, we seem unable to stem the tidal wave of suffering and death.
And we will do everything in our maw, every sinew, to save these beautiful animals that have been here for millions of years. They've been here for far longer than we have. And you know what? We do not deserve them. We will not forget you. We will not desert you. And as long as we share this rock, this beautiful and hopefully not too forlorn rock at this side of the universe, we cannot let you down, and we will not let you down. Thank you.
To the man on the street, this man, this woman, and the rest of the country, and that is that the elephant is the most magnificent animal, the most incredible masterpiece of nature. They are the greatest wonders of the world, along with the rhinos, and losing them would be like losing our own imagination. It would be like losing the last of the dinosaurs. And there really is only one way to celebrate that awesomeness, that straightforward, childish kind of moment when you see one in real life, and that is in the wild, alive and free. That's it.
We have it in our hands to protect the future of the world that we share these wonderful animals with, and we have it in our hands to destroy everything around us, and in the end we'll destroy our own futures as well. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah! I'd like to take politicians who dither, who never take a decision, who think about it, who put off the hard choices, to see a dead elephant. I went a few years ago with the Kenyan Wildlife Service on patrol and saw an elephant that had been killed about 2 days before by poachers. The smell, the sight, the horror will never leave me of such a beautiful animal left with its trunk ripped apart, with its ivory disappeared into some market in Asia somewhere, and this beautiful animal that maybe had 30, 40 years of life ahead of it, rotting in the sun with the maggots and flies. That would never ever be something that these politicians could forget. But most of them will never see that. They'll only hear about it, and that's the difference. That's why we've got to get across this message today. In 1979 we had 1.3 million elephants in Africa. We probably have less than 400,000 today. Of savanna elephants, we've lost 30% of them. 30% in the last 7 years. Forest elephants, we've lost 2/3 in the last decade. Less than 50,000 left today. 20,000 rhinos, losing over 1,000 a year. Do any of us think this tragedy should go on, do we? No! And what do we get? Oh, we'll think about having domestic ivory bans. We'll think about it. We've got no time to think about it. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! I'm sick to death of programs like the Antiques Roadshow, like Flog It, that get millions of viewers celebrating ivory and rhino horn as something of beauty, something that we can flog to make money out of. No, it's something of cruelty and destruction. It should not be on those programs anymore. It's a disgrace and it should stop. Theresa May, I do not believe that you can enforce any rule on antique ivory. DEFRA's lost half its staff in the last 5 years. There's no resources there to enforce it. The Wildlife Crime Unit fights for its survival every year. It's only people here in this crowd who fought so hard to keep it going, but they don't have the resources to do this. Local authorities don't have the resources to do this. So you can say on paper that you will enforce a 70-year rule, but do any of us believe it's going to be enforced properly, do we? No! we're going to see more fraud. And it's a green light to the poachers to keep pouring in the ivory, keep pouring in the rhino horn. And it's got to stop. And if we can't stop it here in Britain, how can we tell China to stop it? Or Japan or other countries to stop it? We've got to set the example here, wouldn't you agree? If our European Union friends are being lobbied by Namibia and by South Africa and Botswana and other countries to put off an Appendix 1 uplisting agreement and to say that we can't take a difficult decision on domestic trade, we're in Brexit territory now. We're breaking with them on Europe. We better break with them on this as well. Make a stand and say we don't agree with them anymore. Yes, and Andrea Leadsom should go to the CITES conference in Johannesburg with the full support of Boris Johnson and Theresa May to say we will not support the European Union view. The UK government will support uplisting, and not only that, we'll introduce a complete ban on all ivory trading in the UK, and we will set the example to the rest of the world. Wouldn't you agree? And it's not only that. I've been talking to politicians for years, and thankfully some like Zach Goldsmith, and I hope some like Boris Johnson are beginning to listen. We spend over £13 billion a year on foreign aid in this country, 0.75% of our GDP, more than anywhere else in Europe. Yet none of that goes on human-wildlife conflict in Africa, India or other countries. It is spent on good humanitarian work. I wouldn't doubt the importance of that. But wouldn't you agree that if we could just spend a small amount of that money helping people in Africa and India to protect the wildlife that brings in so much revenue through tourism, that gets their kids to school, that gives them hospital treatment, that gives them social care, that gives their children a better life, that's worth doing. And that's what we should be calling for. Because that's our taxpayers' money, and we should have a say in how it's spent. And we have big military budgets in Britain across NATO. Yet African countries on the front line of this battle against poachers. The meddling cartels and others that are coming in with the sophisticated helicopters, high-powered rifles, night vision equipment. They're going up against poor people fighting back this force with old Lee Enfield rifles or rusty guns and poor training. Do any of us think that's acceptable? These people are dying trying to protect the future of Africa's wildlife. And it's about time that countries like Britain gave them more support, wouldn't you say? And even in the most developed country in Africa, if you look at the Kruger National Park, geographically the size of Israel, it's got 3 helicopters to patrol the whole national park to hold off poachers that are threatening some of the biggest elephant and rhino herds left in the world. Should we not do more with our military to help the South African government, to help the Kenyan government, deploy helicopters, military personnel, drones and expertise so they can protect their wildlife for the future? Is not a good use of our defence budget, would you say?